There's a very interesting thing going on here in the state of Nebraska. Everybody knows a little bit about this. They think they know something about it. We're going to devote pretty much the rest of this show to this general idea. And I want to try to wrap up with a clever little metaphor. As we know, storytelling is extremely important. And metaphors and symbols really help us all get through the logic and assimilate it in the right hemisphere of our brain, as we talked earlier. So right now, here in the state of Nebraska, the Governor Pillen has pulling together some type of a committee, a number of people, including university people and community colleges and business owners and associations, nonprofits, certainly a few unicameral senators, and is trying to get them all together so that he personally can understand what the dynamics of brain drain are. Why do they leave? You know, that whole thing. How do we get them back? As we all know, Tony Goins at the Department of Economic Development had a huge marketing wave just 2-3 years ago. Kind of went all around the Midwest looking for people who had left Nebraska for one reason or another. They had a job, mortgage, kids, all that, and trying to get them together around other states. And he got a lot of advertising awareness, a lot of PR. But I'm not sure hardly anybody actually said, okay, Tony, we're going to come back. We're coming back to Nebraska. So it was a struggle. It's a real struggle. Now Governor Pillen is inherited, because he knows this. See, this is something that people go, oh yeah, I've heard of brain drain. You know, it happens, all that. But what we're not understanding is that population drives taxes. And already, by the way, taxes are an issue in Nebraska. They have been for years. There's all kinds of tax reform going on, always discussing, putting over here, more taxes over here, et cetera. It goes on endlessly. But the bottom line is our population is flat. It hasn't grown much. And certainly in the what we'll call the younger demographics, it's definitely getting less and less. So here's the deal. I've told my audience before, I'm going to say it again. 91% of all young employees say that innovation is like the key thing, right? To work for somebody, to be an employee, they kind of want to be in a company where there's something new going on, right? New products, new systems, new partnerships, new leadership styles, new technology, new things. And yet, if you talk to researchers, and I've talked to a few, they say that Nebraska is actually ranked number 46 out of 50 states insofar as our ability to innovate. Now that's based on patents and venture capital and some other variables, but think about that for just a minute. Just absorb that statistic. I can't stop talking about it because it's so glaring, and it's got to be put in front of all these people, and they're all going to sit there and say, so it's not about compensation. Nah, you know, money helps, of course. It's not about this or that or insurance or remote learning or no, none of that. I mean, it has some variables, but the bottom line is, if your company, now I'm not talking about government agencies and so on. I'm talking about individual companies in Broken Bow, Alliance, Nebraska City, all over the state, South Sioux City. If your company isn't innovating, launching maybe new products and services, for instance, and doing so, and then by the way, publicizing it, magazine, newspaper, this particular show, whatever it is, I don't care. So we have to keep trying to do new things. Now, why is it so difficult in Nebraska's business community to do new things? Think about that for just a second. Well, doing new things means taking a risk, huh? And if your employees see the boss says, we're going to try this, and you take a risk, they think that if it doesn't work out or it's not really good, that somehow they'll lose credibility with their employees and so on. It's just ridiculous. This state, listen to me now, I've got an interesting document called The Conscious Evolution of Nebraska. I'd love to share it with you. Should ask it, track me down on Nebraska. The Conscious Evolution of Nebraska. It's a very interesting kind of kind of a manifesto, as I said to you before. It's written passionately because the secret is clear, right? And the secret is tough, and the secret is expensive. So, oh my God, we have to change the way we operate. We have to change our mindset. We have to be willing to try new things. We have to be willing to set up individual innovation teams that are separate from our daily operational teams, so they don't get mixed up with each other and screw anything up there. But we've got to go ahead and do that. We should actually be launching maybe 2 or 3. And oh, by the way, before we do the innovation, we should probably do some research. We should do some focus groups or pull some employees together and find out, what do you guys think? What are we missing here? What should we be doing? What's everybody else? What do you hear out there? What are they doing? That's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff I'm talking about right here. We got to do all of it. And then, oh, by the way, they say, by the way, this is all nice stuff, Nice stuff. I'm 23, and I got an MBA, and I'm pretty happy about everything. But I like the fact that you guys are really trying to do some cool things in your business and so on. But have you guys actually noticed downtown? I'm not talking about Omaha and Lincoln right now, obviously, but any other community in the state. Have you guys realized, are we supposed to live there? Are we supposed to live in that area? Really? Come on. The idea of downtown is to be the core, right? The heart and soul. This is where people come together. There's density. You meet people. You have coffee, have a drink, whatever it is. I don't know. And then you get up in the morning, and instead of polluting the world, you walk 3 blocks down the street of downtown Beatrice or Fairbury or Crete or Nebraska, whatever it is, and you do your work. You enjoy doing your work. Or you get online and you work on Zoom or Teams all day long, and you make some really valuable contributions, and then you go downstairs and have a beer with some other people. But whatever it is, you're not going to the suburbs of Crete, Nebraska, right? You're not going to go out there. That's not how you're going to operate. That isn't, now all of a sudden the city council is going, yeah, I guess we didn't really think about that, right? So what should it look like? What should it be? Well, there's a whole architectural style that attracts these young people. Think about that. There's a lot to learn, a lot to finance, a lot to do. And if you just shrug your shoulders, you're succumbing to mediocrity and inertia. Now you say, well, how come somebody doesn't stay here and enjoy the good life? The good life is going away because there's not going to be enough taxes to support all the features and benefits associated with the good life. Right? I mean, it's sad. It's really a difficult thing. Now, we've got generational issues and so on. We've got a lot of things that we have to attack. But most of the things that are being discussed in other committees and groups and so on are not coming to grips with the psychological dimension that I just mentioned right now, which is, I want to be where the action is. I want to be around innovative departments and innovative people, and I want to help roll out new things, and I want to learn from all these new things. I want to do that, and then I want to go have a great time downtown if it actually looked like a decent place that I would want my family or friends to come see. All right, so this is a massive issue, a bigger issue, and a more psychological. I mean, we're talking about style now. All right, you don't hear a lot of Nebraskans talk about style as a key component, in the equation that's going to provide resilience, revitalization in the state of Nebraska. It's really incredible. Now you have business owners at the same time that are going, Lynn, this is interesting, pulling people in and so on. I get where you're coming from, but the fact of the matter is, I don't have enough people working for me right now. And I don't know what to do about that. They seem to be leaving about as fast as they arrive. About 50% of all workers, I don't care if it's a factory or retail, whatever, 50% are unhappy, sad. 18% are sorrowful and in despair. I mean, come on. Sadness, man. Think about this. The single most positive element in a workforce today is the fact that the boss, your immediate boss, or maybe the boss's boss, recognizes your work and gives you a solid pat on the back and expresses interest in who you are uniquely. It's what I call humaneering, all right? Actually caring about people as human beings. It's a very interesting idea now that we are flipping around the whole culture thing. I know people, very few by the way, that carry around a little booklet in their pocket. They pull out the booklet, right? They flip it open, and there's all these very interesting, short, little succinct, I don't want to call them rules, that's not really principles, right? If somebody is in this kind of trouble, you must step in right here. You must help that person regardless of whether it fits into your schedule or your operating procedure. Okay. All I have to do is read this right here. Everybody in the entire room has got to raise their hand and say, I will do this. I will do this. And it goes on and on and on. In fact, you might want to check out an interesting new culture development model called Future Force. What a great word. What a great word. We talk about workforce, Future Force, built to revitalize, redefine what it means to be a human being in your office or in your workforce. You know, as I wrap up here, it's a very interesting thing. Don't forget about Future Force, by the way, but I got to tell you, years ago, somebody took me aside and said, you know what, everybody's got to have a personal brand. I think your personal brand is Lynn. They were talking to me now. The entrepreneur of meaning. This is what somebody told me out of the blue. I was so taken by it, you see. Entrepreneur of meaning. And it really does resonate with me because helping companies find meaning in their work and meaning in their brand and meaning in the heart and soul of the customer they serve, that's not bad. Now, let's wrap up our show for today and tell you about the book that inspired me and this particular idea. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. It's a book written by Viktor Frankl, brilliant, brilliant man, an incredible story about an individual's life purpose. Think about this now with your workforce, life purpose when their family, their everyday life, and all their personal belongings are stripped away. Stripped away. This was during World War II in a death camp. Viktor Frankl was there and he found a way to be happy, to be free inside. He understands man's search for meaning. And that actually has great relevance when you talk about business, creating value, relationships, and the fact that our world that we occupy as business owners and salespeople, all entrepreneurs, we're changing right now. And the world of the notion of meaning plays a key central role. There you go. Our unusual show today here on WowBiz Nebraska. We always try to give you something original, something special, something unique that you can share easily with somebody. Remember, this does go up on YouTube as well. I'd appreciate it if you'd click on it, find the show. This would be WowBiz Nebraska 96, I believe, or 97, excuse me, and share it with the people that you most respect, the people that you want to do business with, maybe the people that you want to bring in to your workforce. This is WowBiz Nebraska. I'm Lynn Hinderaker. Thank you so much for watching. We'll speak with you again.